Okay, a little bit less than that, but hopefully some special sauce coming out of this man down here in the bottom right-hand side in the red. He is the North American champion. It's Alpha X Astrea.
I do believe that pylon is a slightly different spot, but Trap has his pylon at the same spot, obviously on the top left side of Death Aura. Our Korean Protoss player has made it to the finals of this tournament at the DreamHack Masters fall and summer. Can he do it again in winter? It is a Trap.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a different wall off for sure. Does allow the pylon to be slightly further back, so it's harder for someone to snipe it from the low ground, I guess. Still gives you, of course, the coverage of the low ground to build shield batteries down there, and can still power that wall off. Now, it is going to be a nice quick scout for both sides, slightly earlier for Trap, but there's going to be double gas for Astrea, no second gate. A more standard opening from Trap. Astrea wants to do that quick tech opening again.
Yeah, I do believe that some of the one-gate openings, if that's actually what he wants to go for, are pretty powerful. I feel like, oh, I like this. I mean, Trap putting his probe on patrol, forcing Astrea to build his cybernetics core in a very awkward place. And this becomes extra problematic, Pig, because it's a single-gate opening, not a double-gate. So now I guess you have to drop one of your tech buildings to complete the wall, right? Otherwise, Trap can just open up with 2 adepts, and he can shade 2 adepts to the other side of the map and get into your main.
I think if he sees adepts, he'll build a second gateway, even if it means an adjustment in the build order. I think, because I don't think you want to put your tech in the wall. It's just so easy to scout what you're doing with it. So I expect Astrea, even if he wants to go, say, expand before second gate, to just leave that wall open for the moment. Right. And he'll try to delay building that gateway, I think, to the last possible moment.
Well, Trap is going to switch things up. Earlier today, he opened up with the double Stalker. Was it double Stalker into double Sentry, I believe, the first time they played on Death Aura. This time, Trap is opening up with 2 adepts. There is going to be a Stargate going up for Trap as well in the back of his main base. That's going to be very difficult for Astrea to scout. What happened to the probe of Astrea?
His probe.
Isn't it home?
No. Yeah, he must have, actually. Did a scout, came straight home after seeing no expansion. Okay. All he checked for. Nothing else. So that's fascinating. Just doesn't want to overcommit at all. Astrea is building 2 Stalkers, or actually, sorry, only 1 Stalker straight into Sentry for the Scout and defensive Robo in the wall. So you called that one, Kevin. And the Probe Scout, ooh, Trap with a bit of a mistake. Lets that one slide past.
Yeah, I definitely think he should have picked that one up, because it's going to give Astrea a lot of information. Just getting a probe into the natural gives you a good idea of what you're actually going up against. Obviously, Astrea should not mess up against these adepts. There isn't really anything else happening at this game. Can the adepts from Trap deny the scout? Yes, they can. That's actually a bit annoying for Astrea, man, because now you're like, okay, 4 adepts. I'm obviously expecting my opponent to expand, but you want to confirm those things as quickly as possible in a PvP.
It's kind of rough. When you're building this many sentries in an Immortal, none of these things deal with adepts particularly well, or oracles. You really need a shield battery up in the main base as well. Yeah. It's kind of awkward. I think Astrea would much prefer to have some Stalkers out here in the follow-up to this. Second gateway is finishing, as is Warp Gate, which is going to help him out. And a nice little wall off. Ooh, that Immortal popping just in time. Cancels the shield battery to get the refund, but Sentry's getting kicked by the Oracle. Nice play there by Trap getting these Sentries.
Yep, I mean, I think that's completely okay, right? That was 2 adepts going down for 3 sentries, and I think 1 probe there, almost a second one. The Oracle does take a lot of damage, and Trap is going to follow this up with a Void Ray. My goodness, Piggy. We're going to get NA memes out of Trap.
Yeah, I mean, I think a single Void Ray, honestly, is such a good unit. It's like a mini Immortal. Obviously, when it's used up its prismatic alignment, it is no longer useful in terms of damage output for a little while afterwards. But it's just such a good unit to add in there. And we even see people like darting in, picking off a probe, running away. And that's something you can do a lot here. When your opponent doesn't have blink for a long time, you can come in on the edge of the natural. You can try to pick off any pylon built on the edge of the base as well. And this Adept Oracle, it's not over yet.
Yeah, this is going to be big, I think. Now, the Adepts are going to shade into the natural, and the Oracles are like, you know what? If you only have 2 Immortals and a Sentry in the natural, let's bring the Oracles to the natural as well. Let's avoid the main base, because that's clearly where your Stalkers are. And Trap is having a phenomenal start here in the first game of the Deciders Best of 3.
Yeah, I mean, definitely there's small details that can be slightly adapted in terms of how he's controlling and positioning for Astrea, but it's always rough. If you go 1-gate Robo against Adept Oracle, it's just like, these are not the right units, especially when you build 3 sentries. Force fields are kind of useless against this unit set, and it gives Trap a free pass to the next stage of the game. He's continuing to build Void Rays for now, so a second Void Ray on the way, and building his own observers, which means Astrea's observer needs to get the heck out of there very quickly or it will be sniped.
It just feels that Trap is really expecting Astrea to attack him. And he's like, all right, if you want to attack me, that's fine. I'm chilling at home. I've got batteries. I've got a stasis trap. I've got 2 defensive Void Rays. And if you don't want to attack me, that's fine, because I already know that I'm economically ahead after killing 10 probes in this game. And on top of that, you're going to have a hard time moving out throughout the entirety of this game because of the oracles that I still have out on the map. These adepts are looking for one more probe kill. They don't get it. Oracle's thinking of diving into the main. Instead, they will just settle for a revelation. You gotta love the way the Trap is playing so far. I really feel that he's got such a good read on what to do in PvP, in which specific scenario. And Trap, or excuse me, in Astrea, I have no idea what's the correct call for him.
Yeah, I like the quick... I was about to say, I would like the idea of a quick third base here. I think you have to take a bit of a gamble to get back in this game. And since there's no Twilight, I don't think Trap really wants to just do an Immortal Void Ray push with unupgraded Gateway units. I mean, don't get me wrong, that can be very good at killing things like just Stalkers. But if you can fake a pressure here, as long as you don't actually want to fight as Astrea right now, like your army is actually objectively worse, and after getting tagged, you need to go home, I think. This is really dangerous. Like, he's forced a few more shield batteries. He kind of scared Trap a little bit, made him build a cannon, which is nice. Unfortunately, his Oracle got revelated, and he didn't pull it back, so that does go down. But behind this, you're going to go Twilight, more Gateways. I wonder what the next step is to deal with what you've seen out of Trap. Do you just go, okay, so it's just Blink, but also a Templar Archives as well. Seems like Astrea is going to go Blink into Chancellor Archon. This can work, but he's got a while to go to make up this difference.
Yeah, I actually think I kind of like the quick Archons, just in case Trap does make an early push. Archons are good against Immortals, good against Void Rays, and good against the Sentries as well that he spotted. So I think that's a good call, but it doesn't make his position any better. I think the move out was kind of cool because it did allow him to go up to 3 bases a bit before his opponent. Astrea just managed to pick off one of the Oracles. So a couple of things are going his way now. I still think that Trap is feeling quite alright about this game, especially because he has a lot of static defenses in the natural as well, which is very nice, right? It's like, well, you don't have to worry about any sort of a counterattack, because what is your opponent going to do? Kill 3 batteries and a cannon? That takes such a long time.
Yeah, it's a powerful anchor to the army. I mean, 2 Void Rays, 3 Immortals as well, dude. Like, I do not want Astrea to overcommit to Blink Stalkers against this. Like, technically you could micro your way out of it, but the thing is, if you build too many Blink Stalkers, like, if at any moment they're in a pitched battle against that much anti-armor damage, dude, you will see the power of Void Ray Immortal, because the Void Rays stack on top of the army. You have this, like, tight center of Stalker destroying power. Archons, Zealots, those are the units I'd like to see more out of Astrea. And as Blink kicks in, I want to see Astrea kick in to charge immediately. I don't think he can waste any time, or Trap is going to have a scary push.
Yep, he's already wiping in Zealot, so I hope he's aware of the fact that he hasn't started it yet. I mean, charge doesn't take that long, and the moment that Astrea does get charged out, his position is absolutely quite okay. I mean, he's up 10 workers, he's got much quicker Archons. There is hope. I would kind of like to see him be a bit more active with the Blink Stalkers. Maybe he's a bit traumatized of that first best of 3, right? Where every single time he moved out, perhaps he shouldn't have moved out. But these Stalkers should be out on the map right now. They should be annoying. They should be slowing down this push. Because if the armies clash right here, right now, I think Trap's army is slightly better because of all the Immortals. But if Astrea can just buy like 20, 30 seconds for himself, with static defenses as well, there's a lot of hope here for the American.
Yeah, and I think, honestly, I think he's even past that danger point. Even now, with some batteries and cannons spread around his bases, he's up to 3 Archons, 2 Immortals, his +2s on the way. He starts a 4th base. And Trap, he's been down on probes for a while. He's going to try and do an Archon drop towards the main, but that gets spotted. So you've got to be very careful with that Prism, or it could get sniped down. And he's going to be still looking around the map. But Trap, you kind of wonder what you do from here. Do you go Disruptors? Like, I kind of think, army-wise, Astrea's just built a bigger economy. He's caught up in the Archon Immortal. He's got a few more Zealots. It's looking like a really nice position for Astrea now.
Yeah, I think Trap had a clean start in this game and he had a good read on what was happening, but perhaps he overreacted a little bit to the move out that Astrea made. Obviously, Astrea did not commit to any fight. Yeah, maybe the 3 batteries and the cannon were an overcommitment in the end. Because Void Rays are cool and all, but obviously they don't have any air upgrades. They're kind of hard to micro in these big PvP fights. This really comes down to army positioning. The Archon count is very important. There are 7 Archons on the side of Astrea, only 6 on the side of Trap. And it does really feel that Astrea just has way more units here.
Yeah, that's a devastating push. He actually blinks forward. All of his Stalkers get destroyed, but he takes the Prism out. So I think it's okay there. It's kind of hilarious to see how badly the Stalkers got smashed by the Immortals. But now he is on top and Astrea hunts him down. He's got too many Archons there. He's even picking up those low hit point ones, saving them in that Warp Prism. And Trap just not quite enough units to keep up there. Definitely those Void Rays and Immortals, as well as batteries and cannons. Astrea scared him while getting a quick third up. I mean, that was a brilliant move. It was a gamble as well, because to threaten your opponent with the weaker army while expanding, it was a ballsy play. It was exactly what Astrea needed to do.
Yep, and I think during that fight, Astrea already had +2 as well, while Trap only had +1, so I think that made a little bit of a difference too. A couple of Zealots are going to town on this Nexus, and Trap, I don't think he's in any position to defend this. The Immortals are getting a couple of shots off, trying to pick up these Stalkers. I believe one Stalker did go down there, the second one does get saved, but look at the amount of money that Astrea has in the bank as well. If he goes for a massive weapon in the main, this is going to be very difficult, I think, for Trap to deal with.
Yeah, nice chase here with Trap trying to hunt down Astrea's Warp Prism, but this is a dangerous position, and I think Astrea's army is just so good, refusing to move into a bad area where the cannons and batteries can be utilized against him. Takes out the 4th base, pulls back, big worker advantage, obviously a big lead on the +3. I do like the call from Trap. He says, okay, I'm down but not out. Snipes an Observer with a nice drop, but he's going to go double Robo Disruptor. And that's a good way to try and get back into the game. You know, this is not something where you're at the Sky Toss stage yet. It's still just big, meaty ground armies, and the bigger, meatier chunks of units, the easier the targets are for those disruptors to land.
I like it as well, but I think there is one problem for Trap, and that is that he went straight into Charge this game. And Charge and Disruptors don't go super well together. And he doesn't have any Blink Stalkers. And obviously you can just have a very powerful, beefy army of Archons, Immortals, and then Disruptors. But you kind of want to have a couple of Stalkers in the mix as well. And I think that's why he started Blink, but now he cancelled Blink. Trap, that is. All right. Very interesting.
Yeah. I think he doesn't have enough money. I actually like the idea of this, even though it's like you'd love to have Blink. He just has to make some brutal decisions right now. He's got to cut some stuff out of his build, or he's just going to be outmatched. Oh, does pull these Zealots back, hopefully. Oh, Trap, you can't be fighting there. Trap Zealots do pull back. That Archon Ball is an absolute annihilator of Zealots.
Yep, I actually think that Astrea can just take this fight. +3 is close to finishing up as well. He wants to disengage from Battery Overcharge, but there is a big warp in the main as well. A lot of Zealots have been wiped in. Trap doesn't have the units to deal with this in his main. Trap right now is hoping, praying that he can land the biggest Purification Novas a man could possibly land. Gets a little bit awkward up this choke for Astrea, but I mean, all of this is okay because he's dealing a lot of damage in the main base.
Yeah, those Zealots tearing it up. Remember, he's on 73 probes as Astrea. He's doing lots of damage cleaning up Zealots. He's going to even probably take out an Immortal there, and indeed he does. The Zealots go down, but awesome play by Astrea, who's got Plasma Shield upgrades on the way to further that upgrade lead. More Zealots coming in on the 4th base, going to depower those shield batteries. Nice save there from Trap. Astrea's going to have to chill for just a moment, but he's even got a second Warp Prism on the right-hand side. Both Prisms alive, going to be potential staging points for future chaos.
Yep, these are the kinds of games where I feel like Astrea really shines in. And it's so difficult for Trap to deal with this because he doesn't have Blink. It's impossible to catch any Prism if you don't have Blink or a Phoenix. The Void Rays obviously got shut down earlier as well. He also lost the Oracle at the tail end of the first fight. He just kind of flew it into the army. And the only thing that Trap can really hope for is just a massive overcommitment from Astrea. And then, of course, landing 1 or 2 big Novas. He does start Blink now again, realizing that it's something he really needs with his army composition. But it's going to take a little while before he has access to it. And also has money to build Stalkers in the first place. Oh!
Ooh, huge Disruptor shots from Astrea. The first round of Disruptors out of his triple Robo Disruptor. Tech transition comes in, blasts, I think, 2 of the Disruptors and a bunch of Archons from Trap, and That's a big pick off. You know, suddenly Astrea has that late game units, the DTs with Blink coming in, the Disruptors coming in. He's got this big split, but he even force fields these Zealots. Oh, Astrea, you tricky bastard. Beautiful play.
Yeah, I always love watching Astrea play when he's got like 2 armies to work with. It really feels like you're watching somebody who's playing Archon mode. It's like, okay, you've got the right army, I've got the left army, and you know, let's just get the best possible fights. Astrea is really good in this kind of stuff. Has to always be a little bit careful. Attacking into Disruptors is hard, but he does a good job in sort of avoiding the first Nova. Attacking into batteries is difficult.
Oh, actually, his Prism in the main slides into the very back corner of the base. He's still getting some Disruptor shots here in Trap. I mean, he's hanging on for bare life, and attack on the left-hand side. Disruptor shots desperately trying to hang on. This is so hard for Trap to micro this, and the Prism is going to get a warp in the main. Uh-oh, Trap is in big trouble.
Yep, I gotta say Trap is doing a pretty good job with the very few amount of units that he had, as he found a couple of Immortals there as well, but this is just something that he can't possibly keep up with. There's no detection in the main base either. Okay, now there's an Observer there. Lands an, oh my goodness, an insane Nova there on the right side, connects with the majority of the Disruptors. I have no idea how Trap is still alive, but he's still kind of bleeding, and there is still a lot to worry about for him.
Yeah, this man won't go down without a fight, just hanging on as hard as he can, but Astrea jumps forward, grabs a few of the Disruptors. He's on that third mineral line, and his own Disruptors are going to start getting big shots into the middle of Trap's juicy Archons and Immortals, and this is just fantastic play by Astrea. His Prism finally falls in the main base, but he gets this third base down. I mean, Trap's kind of almost trying to corner him and stop him from escaping, but no. He's he's happy for you to come out and fight him. Astrea's got a 5th base up with workers on it behind this and cannons and batteries. He has made sure he moved along to continue every single piece of his lead. He was not tunnel visioned at all.
Well, Trap tried to set up the flank there with the Disruptors, but that wasn't going to work out either. Astrea turned things around in game 1, even though he lost 10 probes in the beginning of the game, and it felt like his strategy wasn't really working out. That move out he made really scared Trap. It allowed him to get up to 3 bases a lot quicker than his opponent did. And from that point on, I think Astrea just played an excellent game. He really made all the correct calls. And all of a sudden, he's up 1-0 and the deciding best of 3 pick. Well, now we're in for one hell of a treat. Are we really going to lose another Korean player today? Like, it can be, right?
Oh my gosh, this has been such a crazy season for that. You know, Korean players getting sniped left, right, and center. And I mean, I believe in Max. I wasn't just trying to be contrarian with that counter vote. Obviously, Trap is the favorite. You know, he is the big dog in PvP. But Astrea comes in there, and remember, that game started with him losing 3 sentries and a pair of probes, 8 more probes on the next wave. This was not an ideal start. And yeah, definitely something where I do wonder if there was some sort of push timing, if Trap just goes with Immortals and Void Rays and a pack of Gateway units. You know, could he have made a big play? Potentially. But Astrea there, as always, being hard to kind of pin down which direction he's going. It's very hard to get a read on Astrea because he'll do things like that feint across the map. I think there's a lot of PvP players out there who forget to throw this misdirection out there, whereas Astrea, he just keeps you guessing a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I did like the very quick Templar Archives as well, because if there's one thing that Void Rays and Immortals don't enjoy fighting with, it's probably the Archons. I mean, yeah, Immortals are... It's funny how that works, because Immortals are not bad against Archons, but they're definitely not great. And Archons are actually very good against multiple Immortals, because Immortals pretty much always stay together. So then one Archon hit on top of one Immortal can activate all 3 barriers. Void Rays, they deal all right with Archons. So on the other end, if the Archons can get in range, they also deal very well with the Void Rays. So I don't know if there was potential. Maybe Trap should have just gone for it with the Prism. Couple of simple Gateway units, not wait for charge, not wait for his own Archons. But yeah, by the time that he had his own Archons, I was like, I actually don't think you can really take this fight anymore, especially not near a battery, near a cannon. And then obviously we had that big fight on the right side, right, where it was like Archon Zealot against Archon Zealot and some Immortals. But that was just a way better fight for Astrea than it ever was going to be for Trap. Also because of the upgrade advantage, but Astrea just had more stuff there.
Couple more Archons in a giant arch, and definitely a good fight there for Astrea to turn that one around, but I don't think it's going to be that easy. I think we've still got a series on our hand, and I think these games are going to get more and more action-packed. I can kind of sense after a day that's been a little one-sided in some of the matches, I think this is the deciding match where things get down and dirty. And we are hopping over to the Korean server now. And down here in the bottom right-hand side, he won his server preference. Let's see if he can do it again and clean sweep it. In the bottom right, representing Alpha Rex, it is Astrea.
It's do or die for this man, who's made it to the grand finals, all summer, all fall, and I'm sure he wants to do the same here in winter. But he needs to turn this one around. Top left side, Korean Pro Tour player representing Jin Air Green Wings. It is Trap.
Very early probe scout there for Trap. Doesn't want to take any chances with his tournament life on the line. He does need to win the next 2 maps in a row. So I definitely understand that choice. And Astrea here, he's really been enjoying this 1-gate tech opening. Looks like he's going to be going for it one more time.
Yeah, perhaps this is actually what makes Astrea such a powerful Pro Tour player in this matchup in particular. He's got a lot of openings, and obviously some of them are very cheesy, but you can also go for 1-gate openings and just go for a very defensive playstyle. But it's just weird. Like if you're Trap and you're scouting this, you're like, why? What are we going to do? Are we going to Stargate Robo again? Are you attacking me in like a very early timing? Astrea has also done a couple of very quick expands, but then he actually just 4-gates you. So he goes like 1-gate Nexus, makes it seem like he wants to get a big, powerful economy out early on. And then all of a sudden it's like, surprise, surprise, the 4-gate is back, baby. So it is hard to play against somebody who's opening up the way that Astrea is opening in this matchup.
Trap here was chasing the probe. Did see it scout the natural, turn around, and immediately went off to hide. So Trap's spidey senses tingled and immediately chased the probe and was like, nope, 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 nope. I am not letting you proxy anything. I'm going to follow you. But Astrea, flexible as ever. Is just chrono boosted a Stalker. Hasn't put any tech down just yet. Stargate goes down in the main base here. And looks like he's just going to get a 3rd pylon somewhere. I'm wondering if that's going to be a proxy or not. And he does enjoy the quick Nexus.
Yep, I think it's going to be Nexus. And now this is going to be fun as well, because I believe, I mean, we saw Stargate against Stargate before on this map specifically, actually, but that wasn't a real Stargate against Stargate, because Astrea's Stargate was proxied. He wasn't able to defend it, wasn't able to keep it online. So obviously after the single Void Ray, he gave up on it. And it's like, well, that was not the investment I was hoping for, but it is what it is. Now both players have a defensive Stargate that is very safe at home. Let's see if one of them goes Phoenixes, because Phoenix is an excellent tech choice here, and Astrea does go for the Phoenix. If Trap opens up with Oracles here, Pig, he could be in a bit of trouble.
Ooh, oh my, Phoenix versus Phoenix. Damn, I haven't seen this one in a long time, in fact. So that, of course, is a very curious matchup. Now, unfortunately for Astrea, he's going for a sentry behind that, which is a lot of gas, whereas you kind of really want your gas going into the Phoenix. He had a small Phoenix advantage, which is now a 1-second advantage on Phoenix production. Whoever hits that Phoenix production with less gaps is probably going to be a bit happier here. But oh man, this is already heating up.
Yeah, the scout here is very big, actually. The fact that now Trap knows that he's also going up against Phoenixes, has to be very careful with his own Phoenix. Astrea could have turned around there, maybe take a 2 Phoenix against 1 Phoenix fight, which is actually more important than the Stalker battle that is happening. But, you know, in the end, at least Astrea, besides losing the sentry, gets out of this without too much damage. I just hope that he actually saw that Trap has a Phoenix out as well.
Yeah, that Phoenix coming in there, definitely it was idling for a bit. This Stalker micro from Trap, I can't believe he got one more probe there. That Stalker was running around on like 3 hit points for a solid 10-15 seconds, but well done. Astrea has scouted on the other side of the map, and there's no Phoenix being built right now for either player. They both power them up at the exact same moment. So neck and neck in the Phoenix war. Astrea, a couple workers ahead right now.
And that's a very big deal.
Boosting his expansion.
Yeah, I think that's a very big deal, like a 3 or 4 worker lead when you're doing the exact same thing. And that feels very good in general. Now I wonder if both of them are going to go Phoenix all the way, or if one of them is going to try to transition out of this Phoenix battle. It is possible. You can always try to go for the Twilight Council, then add a couple gateways and then go into Blink. But it is very risky, because if your opponent can force a Phoenix fight right before Blink is done, well, you lose the Phoenix fight because he doubled down on it, you didn't. And then you lose a whole bunch of probes, and then the Stalkers alone cannot win the game. But we can see that Trap is actually embracing the Phoenix War. He wants to make this an all-out battle. This is so risky by Astrea to harass in a game like this, where it's Phoenix against Phoenix. He could be in a bit of trouble. As Trap has more units, he's going to try to cut him off. Oh no, Big. This is disastrous for Astrea.
Yeah, that was an incredibly greedy move there from Astrea. I think he 100% did not see that Phoenix earlier. The fact that his probe didn't see Phoenix production on the Stargate meant he had no idea that Trap was anywhere near him in Phoenix count. Oh, that is a huge mistake from Astrea. And now Seed's control of the skies has to start a Twilight Council. And that is an awful position to be in. Look at the probe losses. Damn.
Yep, and this is not done yet. This is going to continue for a little while. There's one more Phoenix left actually from Astrea that does get at least one kill on the super low HP Phoenix, but that doesn't really make this scenario any better for the American Protoss. I gotta say, I love that Trap canceled the Stargate the moment he realized, like, hey, I'm about to kill all of your Phoenixes, which means I don't need double Stargate here. The amount of Phoenixes I have right now is more than enough to get proper value out of them. Let's just make sure that I don't die to something silly like Stalkers and Archons. And yeah, Trap has put himself in a marvelous position here in Game 2.
Phoenix here, not having much energy left. A bit of a Stalker move out from Astrea, interestingly enough. He's going to clean up this pylon on the map. There are 2 Adepts ready to counterattack, though. Astrea trying to chrono boost those 3. Nexi, he says, just give me a moment's rest. I'll catch up in workers. And, of course, the 2 Adepts come in and say, nah, mate. Already an extra probe goes down. A Stalker pick-off as well. This is great play by Trap.
Yep, Trap is having the time of his life at this point, and Astrea knows that he is in all sorts of trouble. The Adepts do need to sync up their shots to kill a few more probes, and that is exactly what they do here as well, as one more Stalker gets lifted in the main base. I think Astrea knows that this one is pretty much over, unless he pulls off a miracle.
And of course, he is a player who's made comebacks before. He'll stay in the game and keep trying to fight this one out, but even just getting control over his 3 mineral lines is an incredible problem. Exceptionally hard for him to deal with right now. Does pull his single Phoenix home to try to help defend. He's going to try and do some Stalker pressure. He says, look, if I can cancel your 3rd, maybe, just maybe, I haven't been able to stop the Phoenix harass, so what's the point in staying home? If you pick up a few more probes, no worries, but if I can kill your 3rd, maybe, just maybe, I can get back in this game.
I feel like he could maybe kill it, but he needs to kill the Immortal first. Like, as long as you don't kill the Immortal, I really wouldn't mind a YOLO blink here on top of the Immortal. It may not be pretty and it may really backfire, but that's his best chance. There is a 2nd Immortal on the way. He doesn't have blink yet, so that means that this is just not an option.
Yeah, it does set off the barrier there, pulls back, and then he is going to try and focus down that Immortal, but it's only a matter of time till those Phoenix get home. So he's going to get the Immortal, but he's going to sacrifice most of his units to do it, and the Phoenix is going to seal the deal.
Yep, he's going to try to recall a couple of Stalkers home, but there are still 3 more Stalkers out on the map. I think there is plenty of energy for the Phoenixes to lift all 3 of them up. Trap's going to settle for just a single Stalker for now. I mean, what I do love about the way that Astrea plays is that during all of this, he has actually kind of tied up the worker count. He's now all of a sudden only down a single worker. That is very impressive if you take into consideration that Astrea has lost 26 probes in this game and Trap has only lost 4.
Yeah, that's actually kind of impressive when you put it that way. Grabs a sentry or 2 there as well. Keeps probing up, desperately trying to do anything he can with his Stalkers. Gosh, these Phoenix are being used so well. 32 worker kills in total by Trap this game. I mean, Astrea's getting punched in the face, but if there's one guy who knows exactly how to adapt his play and just triple down, not just double down, triple down on chrono boosting probes for minutes on end to absorb that damage, it's Astrea. And he actually keeps himself even in the worker count throughout massive losses. Of course, he's still behind, but it's impressive the fact that he actually manages to do that.
You can really see that Trap is overreacting a little bit to all those move outs and the army movement of Astrea, because this just shouldn't be that close. I mean, at this point, Trap is actually behind in workers. He has killed 30 more probes than Astrea did in this game. Now, obviously, that advantage does translate into something, and that is this army. This is a very powerful army at this point. Astrea is kind of busy chasing Phoenixes right now, which means he wasn't really aware of this army moving out. His observer is about to spot it, but is that too late, Big? I only see a single shield battery here. Astrea does not have charge, so he's going to have to defend this push with basically nothing but blink Stalkers.
He's trying to build cannons, shield batteries, anything he can to help cement that defense and give him a potential chance to get back in this game. And It's mass blink stalkers, micro cannons, batteries, and cross your fingers and hope you can hang on. Now, Trap's not going in. I do think Trap could kill him right now, but there we go. Trap gathers it up. Immortals and Archons in front. Zealots coming in just behind them, ready to charge on top.
Yeah, really nice timing as well. Before the majority of the cannons are up, one of them gets cancelled immediately. Trap does need to kill that overcharged battery, I think, and he prioritizes that. That is an excellent call. It takes a Protoss to know how powerful those things really are. Let's see if Astrea can micro his heart out and somehow keep these Stalkers alive for long enough until the Immortal count starts dwindling. But it seems like the answer is no, Pig. There is just a little too much scrap here.
Yeah, the Phoenix even picking up Stalkers as they try to retreat. They're always going to leave a few of their comrades behind. Nice usage of those Phoenix. I mean, the Stalker micro is actually really finding some value here. Even gets an Immortal there, blinks away. Really well done by Astrea. He's warping in more Stalkers and Zealots on the right-hand side, picking off a few of these Phoenix. This is such good micro by Astrea, but similar to those Trap vs. Serral games, it's watching a Protoss player with not enough units try to make the impossible into a reality.
There's still a couple of batteries, and maybe there's another battery overcharge available soon. Astrea is going to try to do his best to make this as hard as possible for Trap. There is a backup prism, so YOLO blinking on the first prism is not going to do it. I mean, Astrea kills the first prism. That cancels the warp in as well. Look at the Stalkers on the right. They're actually getting a great fight. Can he get the second prism? Yes, he can. Oh my goodness, Astrea is really making the best of it. I mean, you don't want to pull probes against Archons, but if he just picks off 2 of these 3 Archons, you can definitely pull the probes against the Immortals.
That was an insane hold by Astrea. The fact that he keeps his third alive and loses very few probes there is actually insane. Astrea hanging on, of course. He's still only on pure Blink Stalker. He's starting to add a Disruptor, and Trap did get a 4th base up behind it. So Trap maintains a lead here. But somehow Astrea manages to get past the killing blow, gets a second Robo down. He's trying to get those Disruptors up. All the Phoenix did die in the previous fight as well.
Yeah, really great micro. Astrea wants to get an Archon and barely doesn't get it. It survives with 26 HP in the end. There is 1 Disruptor out. Now, 1 Disruptor is not enough, I think, to turn this game around. But if Astrea can get 3 or 4 Disruptors out, anything is truly possible. But I do feel like we've seen this before. All of the Stalkers are out on the map, Pig, and Trap is like, yeah, good luck with that. Then I'm just going to run on top of your production. Trap should go, though. If he doesn't go, he's going to make this game very difficult on himself.
Yeah, I think he didn't realize the Stalkers weren't all there. He saw the edge of the Stalkers, thought the whole army was there, and now he's like, oh, wait a second, you are blinking into my base. You're trying to get a base trade going again. Okay, no. He's going to try to force his way in. I like that the Disruptors are rallied up to the high ground there.
Yep.
Unfortunately, though, of course, that Robo, once again, very exposed and is going to fall. Tries to Cybercore block the ramp, which is a really cool move there from Astrea. Unable to get it up, though, and those Zealots are starting to spill up into the main base.
This is a little bit uncomfortable for Trap, though, even though he still has a much bigger and much more powerful army. His army doesn't have the same micro potential as Astrea does, right? So yeah, I actually like the recall. I think that's an excellent choice. Trap has done a lot of damage already. He took out 2 of the 3 bases. Meanwhile, he still kept his own 4th base alive, and the Natural is still alive as well. Astrea is trying to do whatever he can, but yeah, I feel like no amount of Blinkstalker micro is going to save you here. Really wants to get another prism. You can't get every prism, mate.
He's already killed 2 of them this game. Would love a 3rd, but well done by Trap. Really calm play. Takes out 2 Nexi, just recalls home, cleans this up, traps these Stalkers on the map, you know. Does, of course, play to his namesake there. Disruptors coming forward, but the Zealots have already taken out so many of those Stalkers.
Yep. I mean, Trap still has an economy. Astrea really doesn't. Because obviously the main at this point in the game doesn't really give you anything at all. Maybe still a tiny bit of gas, but that's about it. It feels like Astrea is hoping for a miracle connection, but even if he does it, there are simply way too many Blue Protoss units here. GG gets called, and Trap will send it to the Deciders match. But once again, I gotta say, Astrea is really good in turning games that look completely lost into a somewhat competitive game. Like, he actually made that close at one point.
Yeah, I don't think there's any point where Astrea ever just falls off and looks like a terrible opponent. Even when he loses with a one-sided scoreline in a series, there's never a point of the game where you look at it and you go, oh, he's just so lacking there. Like, there's just a big weak point. He's very good strategically at understanding how to come back, but he also has the mechanics and the micro to back it up. That is awesome play. Let's see what happens in Game 3. We'll be back in just a minute. The ticking of the countdown is underway, and game 3 is already loading for us here. Lightshade is going to decide the final series here to see who goes through in second place behind Cyril. It's Trap versus Astrea. It's a tied series, and man, things are down to the wire.
Yep, we are going to play the final match on Lightshade, and to give everybody a peaceful state of mind. The first game was on America, the second game was on Korea, so they both get a game with no lag. Game 3, they get all the lag. We're hosting on Australia to keep things fair, because obviously you have a big advantage on your home server. So now both players have a relatively high ping. It's not ideal, but it's the best we can do in these COVID-19 times. So it is what it is, Pig, as long as it's fair, right? That's pretty much the only thing we can really hope for. In the bottom right
Sometimes
side.
the fairest thing is to spread the pain around.
Yes, I mean, you had some pain, I had some pain, now we share the pain. That's just the way we do it. Bottom right side, we're looking at the main base of the American Protoss hero. It is Astrea.
You say it quick enough, it sounds a lot like the server we're on. Up here in the top left-hand side, in the blue, representing Jin Air Green Wings. He really looked great in that second game. Let's see if he can tie it together and put this series behind him. In the top left, it's Trap.
Now, Pig, before the action really kicks in this one, I want to go back to the previous game real quick. I went over the vision that Astrea had, and I actually think that you were right. He just never knew he was playing against Phoenixes. There was a Phoenix in his main. It was definitely visible, but I think he was so busy fighting the Stalkers and using his own Phoenix that he didn't see that Phoenix appear. And then obviously when the probe got into the main base, he saw a Stargate that wasn't producing anything. And normally when a Stargate doesn't produce anything, it means that they either already made one Oracle or two Oracles. That makes sense, right? Otherwise, why would the Stargate not be producing anything? And then I think the icing on the cake that really, what really confirmed it for me is that the movement of Astrea's Phoenixes is he had 3 Phoenixes going all the way to the bottom left and then into the natural trap. And then he had a single individual Phoenix going all the way to the top right and then towards the main as well. And that is the path you take when you feel like there are Oracles out on the map and you think your opponent is hiding Oracles somewhere. So, yeah, that's the reason why Astrea lost all of his Phoenixes. He was convinced he was playing Phoenix against Oracle. Even though he could have seen it, it was literally in his main. But, yeah, he just never actually got to see it.
So impressed that Astrea is so confident and consistent with this kind of one gate quick Stargate expand. I actually was trying to get this build to work of my own terrible version of it with defensive Phoenix for like weeks, and I just gave up. It's so hard. So hard to survive the aggressive pressure like that last game. 2 Adepts, 2 Stalkers. That was a nightmare to deal with, right? We've seen Stalker pressures cause big reactions, but he's so good at shutting everything down. He gets these 2 Stalkers out, gets that Stargate. He never lets Trap confirm what's going on. Trap's scouring the map looking for proxies because he just can't quite confirm it.
I mean, the one Protoss on the European server that really likes to do this one as well, besides Goblin likes his one gate Stargate Phoenix expense as well, is MaxPax. And I think MaxPax also became just really good in reading the game well and knowing how much he needs to commit to either Phoenixes or Void Rays or batteries. It's definitely different, but if you practice this every single game, I mean, you definitely have way more experience than your opponent does, right? Your opponent may think something is good against it, but you know whether it's good or not because you play this all the time. Now, that battery isn't done yet, which means one Stalker is going to go down for Astrea, and that hurts a little bit. And Big, what hurts perhaps even more is that it's once again Stargate against Stargate. But this time, Astrea is the one opening up with the Oracle. Trap has a Phoenix. Yeah, I don't really like where this is going for Astrea.
Oh, he's going to have to overcharge that natural battery as it runs out of juice. That is definitely a problem. Now, the Oracle, there's no Phoenix at home right now for Trap, but because there's a shield battery, yeah, that is the big kind of kicker there, and definitely the potential for Phoenix to pick up defensive Stalkers. Astrea's trying to get a Void Ray. It's not here just yet. Okay, that shield battery. He cannot go out of range of the shield battery. Ooh, good quick shield battery, good quick pullback, as long as he pulls Void Ray as well.
Please, why is the Void Ray not coming? The Void Ray is not doing anything. Now we get Pulsar Beam on the other side of the map, and I actually kind of wish that Astrea would have gone for a Stasis Trap during all of this, because I think it's very hard to pay attention to that while you're also fighting Stalkers against Stalkers. It seems like Astrea is like, you know what, I need something crazy here, even though he's the one who's 6 workers ahead. But obviously, tech-wise, like the Phoenixes scale very well into the mid-game. The Oracle Void Ray Wombo combo, not so much. Dark Shrines, however, against somebody who doesn't have a Robo yet pick, that could be pretty insane. And the pylons are already going up on the other side of the map as well. Trap really needs to spot this Dark Shrine before it's too late. Otherwise, he is dead.
Well, the shield battery and 4 stalkers, I think, can hold on here for Astrea. I actually think he's okay defensively. But once again, you can't go out front. You got to stay near that shield battery, or you will get taken out. Oracle on the natural coming in for Astrea is going to go for the stasis trap this time around. But a quick reaction by Trap. His micro, his attention, impeccable.
I'm actually very worried for Trap in this game because he hasn't spotted the pylon that went up on the right side of his main either. I mean, getting a little bit of economic damage done here is nice, but the first Dark Templars are being warped in. The Robo is like 70% done. I do believe that eventually Trap will be able to get an Observer out, but if a DT makes it into the main base and into the natural, I think that Astrea can put himself very far ahead here.
Okay, so the Oracle is finally going to get caught. Gets 3 probes with the second
DT's pick! DT's!
DTs. Dude, the Observer hasn't even started. Neither has an Oracle. Oh no, this is so bad for Trap. He does have a shield battery, so that Observer that Robo can't be depowered, but I mean, he's just going to go for probes. So many going down already.
It's a lot of lost mining time and a lot of probes going down as well. These Dark Templars have already paid for themselves in a very big way. The Observer goes towards the natural, which means the DT in the main base is still killing a couple of additional workers. What a start here for Astrea in the Deciders match. He is now ahead 9-10 workers going up to 3 bases. Sure, the Phoenixes will deal some damage on the other side of the map, but this was very big for the American.
Dude, he has such range as a player, honestly. The thought to go to the DT shrine, you said, oh, it feels like he needs something big, but the way he did it, he's still macroing behind it. He took a bit of economic damage, but I mean, look at this. He's got a third, he's going blink. It's so amazing how many of these moves he's good at mixing in and looking for big payoffs, but he's never all in with it, you know? He commits a decent amount, finds big damage in this case, but even if he didn't, I think Astrea would have been fine, but now he finds himself in a really big lead. Void Ray grabs one of the Phoenix before it can recall. Well done by Astrea, who's now in a beautiful position. His blink is going to be about 2.5 minutes ahead of Trap, and his upgrades are miles ahead as well as being up 7 workers with a third base. This is Astrea building every single lead, and he is one of the scariest players when he's ahead, because he will both attack you, harass you, and keep expanding at the same time.
Yeah, an absolutely insane start here for Astrea in the Deciders match. Wow, is it really going to happen? We have seen the Korean players fall in Group A. We saw Innovation fail to advance from Group B, and that was definitely a bit surprising. But if Trap now also doesn't make it, after making it to the finals at DreamHack SC2 Masters summer and fall, well, that will just be one hell of an upset, and he is in all sorts of trouble here in Game 3. Maybe the Adepts can find some damage for Trap, but nope, the Dark Templar has already scouted those as well on the bottom side. And Trap's like, you know what, I'm gonna go for my own Dark Shrine. That's the only play that I feel like I could make to turn this game around. But Pig, this is looking incredibly bad for Trap.
Yeah, even just pure Blink Stalker would be a scary attack. Trap's having to put down batteries out front is natural. A DT's coming in and poking his third base. Fortunately, we'll lose that Dark Templar, but charge. +1 finished. Blink finished. Extra gateways going down. +2 starting and being chrono boosted. Astrea has a fully saturated third mineral line, and just the threat of Zealot Archon is scary, but you've also got Blink map control, upgrade advantage, and I really feel like this is just Astrea working every single advantage to his favor. I would not be surprised to see a Warp Prism power up in a moment and a whole ton of Zealot Archon coming across the map in the next couple minutes.
Yep, I mean, we've got 5 more gateways being wiped in at this point for Astrea, who already has a bigger army. He's got 17 Blink Stalkers. I actually think he could blink on top of those Immortals. I'm not saying that he should pick, but I think he could. Instead, he's going to try to go for, well, this is single Stalker for now, picks up a Zealot, looks at that army, and he's like, yeah, that's a little much for now. But with that Warp Prism on the way, +2 on the way, I think you're right. I mean, he doesn't even need to build the Templar Archives, right? Because he already has the Dark Shrine. So if he really wants, let's say, 1 or 2 Archons to break force fields, you can just warp those in from your DTs.
Indeed. Both Phoenix gets snapped down. DT counterattack coming in, though. And there's no detection at home. This is the big Hail Mary from Trap. There is no detection at home. There are 2 observers for Astrea. They're both on the map. These DTs are going to do massive damage. One going to each base. Is Trap about to make the miraculous comeback?
That'd be insane because Trap was in so much trouble here. Astrea is about to get the panic red alert button. Oh my goodness, base is under attack. All the bases under attack. And it's very hard to commit to an attack if you know that there are Dark Templars going to town on your mineral lines. So Trap with the great equalizer here in game 3. What a deciders match we have on our hands, Pick. This is amazing.
Wow, that DT warp in, and he's still killing more in the main. He's got to run his probes away. Does Astrea? He had to, of course, unsiege that observer even after recalling it. It was still in setup mode.
Wow.
And that DT just got so many kills, 20 worker kills in total. And you know what? Just like that, Trap is back in this game. He's managed to really get himself an economic lead. He's got a lot of batteries as well, so it's not like you can just break him with an instant counter push. You do have a faster 4th as Astrea, but what are you going to do? Are you just chrono boosting probes and recovering? It's going to take a while. He's got a DT force fielded at his 3rd base by Stalkers, which is kind of hilarious, but it finally got caught. They were just body blocking it. I mean, it's a good cleanup for Astrea considering everything was on the other side of the map, but damn, what a play from Trap.
Yeah, the hell memory play, you said it. I mean, Trap really needed something special because I cannot emphasize on how much trouble he truly was in. But hey, when behind go dark shrine is the good old saying, and it really proved to be true in this one. Now, Astrea definitely not out of this. I mean, he's technically still ahead in upgrades. He's catching up in the worker count real quick. He still has a pretty big army. And he's still the player with 4 bases. But Trap basically just increased his chances from 1% to, well, a solid 40%. And maybe with Disruptors on the way, we could even say that this is becoming a 50-50 game as another Dark Templar shows up, this time at the 4th base. Trap does have to be a little bit careful that he doesn't throw away too many DTs, right? Because they're still pretty expensive units as well.
Indeed. I mean, Astrea's still got advantages. Like you said, it's more about knowing how far he was ahead and then getting hit by those DTs and surprised by them. That is a huge whammy. I mean, that is a psychological kick to the face. It really can throw a player off their game. How does Astrea, does he work with this? He's got max Blink Stalker, almost pure Blink Stalker right now. He doesn't really have any other units. And if he blinks forward into a Disruptor shot, he's got to be careful.
Yeah, there is a Disruptor there, and he sees the Nova coming, so he moves out. Is he going to blink on top of the Disruptor? Now the Immortals have turned around. This is so scary. Astrea is playing a very dangerous game here, but I'm sure that he knows what he's doing. Trap during all of this is going up to 4 bases, now at the bottom left. And this is something that Astrea is not aware of yet.
I'd like to see Astrea expand his tech into maybe DT Blink. He is going to go to second Robo Bay. Of course, the Robo tech going to open up there, the Disruptor tech, and he is adding more pylons, cannons, batteries across his bases. I like that he's getting a cannon in every single base. Single Dark Templar. I'm not going to be taking him out of this game. His Stalkers are going to come down, and that should be a snipe on the 4th base.
Yep, exactly. I'd say just blink down now immediately, get yourself in a good position. That is exactly what Astrea does. Gets the pylons and forces Trap to cancel this Nexus. Now look at the minimap though, Pick. Trap is going to try to flank this army, and a lot of Immortals are in the mix there as well. There's Disruptors in the mix too. This is going to get so hectic.
This is going to get kind of wild. That thing is, I think there's enough Stalkers to beat that army of Trap. Or at least it's very close. Oh, but he catches them. Oh, there's many more to the left, though. Oh, no, he blinks forward. There's 2 more. Can he get them? Oh, my lord. That's a lot of Stalkers smashed in one shot, but a lot of Disruptors go down as well.
Yeah, I think it's okay. You're trading out Stalkers to kill 5 Disruptors. I mean, I think that's a trade that I could live with, especially if you know that you're on 4 bases, your opponent is on 3. It is a bit of a shame for Astrea that he loses even more Stalkers there at the tail end of all of that. Now he's going into his own Disruptor production. He's building 3 at a time. Trap is still working with double Robo. This game is so tense. I'm actually like, I'm having nerd chills over it. This is, the winner moves on. The loser is eliminated of the tournament, and we get a game like this. It doesn't get any better than that.
Multiple cannons and batteries on just about every expansion for Astrea. Important as we see 5 Dark Templars snake their way around the north of the map. We've got, of course, this army building up for both sides. A few more Disruptors right now for Astrea as he builds them 3 at a time. And we're about to see a clash here.
Sorry, DT Blink as well on the right side as these armies are just going to run away. These Stalkers are just going to run away. But 5 Dark Templars with Blink just blinked on top of a cannon. 1 cannon did go down. The other ones did not. The Dark Templars of Trap will spot all the disruptors now. They're actually going to try to kill a Robo. Good job there as well, avoiding that Nova. He's like, you know what? I'll go for the other Robo instead.
Saves both of them. All 3 Robos still alive. Now, Trap's still looking for big pickoffs here, but he's way outnumbered. It's about the disruptors. It's all about the disruptors.
Got so close, Pick. That was almost -7 Stalkers.
Oh, this is not for the faint-hearted, this sort of game, and what a final game for this group to top it off. I mean, we said it, the one-sided series are over. This is the real match to see who gets out, and Astrea still leading in supply, in upgrades. He's even adding plasma shields. A 5th base going up, though, for Trap, who's doing a really good job with his DTs. He's going to deny Astrea's 5th base. Astrea no longer really able to harass or force any big damage out on Trap's side of the map. It feels like Trap's having a really good establishment of control, keeping Trap back. Trap still has a smaller army. I mean, he's down a casual 29 Stalkers, but Stalkers against a Mortal Disruptor, they're not always going to be able to find the mark.
Yep, with 9 disruptors, I actually think you're going to be okay. Now, the one thing that's a bit scary for Trap is that obviously he has a slower army, but I love the fact that he got observer speed. I actually think it's one of the most important upgrades in a game like this, because vision is everything in Disruptor Wars, and Astrea did not get observer speed yet. Now, right when I mention it, he does fire it up, but I think it really helped Trap in allowing him to have his army in the right position over the last 2-3 minutes.
Oh, the cannon goes down in the natural. These DTs pick off one Robo. They're going to pick off another Robo. Ooh, that's important. Astrea losing his disruptor production at a crucial moment. The action is about to heat up. His Stalkers blink forward, and oh my god, he actually takes out almost all of the disruptors of Trap. Trap has 3 more coming back.
Oh, but he's not paying attention. Trap, what are you doing? He's losing all 3 disruptors there, and he's going to recall, but a very tiny army. He recalls 2 Immortals. What is that going to do? As I believe his disruptor did fire first pick. All hell is breaking loose.
Oh my gosh. This is looking better for Astrea so far, but he does lose a lot of disruptors in the tail end of that. Right now, this is still chaotic. Remember, there is only 1 Robo out. Oh, actually, no Robos. Oh my god, he's got no Robos. He has to rebuild all 3 Robos, does Astrea. He's got no disruptor production. He's only got 2 out. Now, there's only 2 for Trap as well. This is a wild game. I feel like Zealots and Archons might actually be the best units for these guys to start building now.
Yep. Oh, that's a decent Nova as it clips a couple of these Dark Templars. I mean, Astrea has a lot of static defenses, though. I don't know if Trap wants to take a fight near that many cannons and batteries. Fires forward a Nova. It does not connect. I actually think if I was Trap, I would probably chill after losing that many disruptors. He had 9 disruptors pick and he just lost 6 of them. I don't know if being aggressive here, especially without a War Prism in range of static defenses, is the right call. But he's going to try to use his disruptors to zone his army away. He gets the Nexus, and I would say get the hell out of here because you are overstaying your welcome.
He's going to run into a pack of DTs. Oh, those DTs should turn around and fight the army. They shouldn't go on the cannons, not right now. Actually, they depower it. There's no detection here for Trap, so he actually could have turned around and killed all the disruptors, I believe. But you know what? Continues into the bases, does Astrea. Those DTs trying to run on through. His army's right behind him. If he could pull this army further away, he should be able to snipe this Nexus on the north.
Both players floating a little bit of money here. Astrea's gonna blink forward, wants to take out that base on the top. He's got 2 disruptors on the high ground as well. Trap lost all of his observers, so he didn't know the disruptors were there. But does a good job in avoiding taking too much damage there. Astrea now with more Dark Templars blinking in the bottom base as well. There is 1 more observer out. Super Battery is going to try to keep this Nexus alive.
Oh, and a big disruptor shot just landed on Trap on the north at the same time. Trap walked into a huge disruptor shot, lost about 8 Stalkers. Does keep the Nexus barely alive, though. A good save there for Trap.
He really needs to take care of this observer that Astrea has in the center of the map because it's giving so much valuable information to where the army is, and it's going to allow Astrea to make the correct moves. Yeah, great job keeping that Nexus alive, otherwise it would have been double bad. I didn't see the Nova shot, but you made it seem like it was a big 1 pick, so I believe you.
It was a good shot. Not game-ending in a game this big with this much economy. Yeah. A good recall there, and the Stalker's going to trap some of these units. Astrea doesn't want to commit too many units to the south. I mean, his vision. Yeah. You talked about it earlier and how big it is. There are 2 observers in the middle of the map just seeing every single movement. That's such a big advantage. 7 disruptors to 5 in favor of Astrea. Astrea's disruptors are a little left behind, though, right now.
Yep, but you can't really fight in range of that many cannons and batteries. I just don't think that's an option. Trap really needs to get on top of his observer production again. Otherwise, I really think he's going to lose, even though that is a decent Nova. Doesn't connect, but this one falls short as well. They get so close to landing the big shots. The final one is not bad there. But I think Trap needs to get the hell out of here. I don't see a prism. It's actually above this army. Maybe he should take out these rocks to make his life a little bit easier in the center of this map.
Yeah, DT's coming in on the north again, so going to keep denying that 6th base from Astrea just as he goes to take it. And Astrea's left his disruptors down the bottom, but he's got to be careful. That's a big army. Trap could blink on him. His disruptors are in the open.
Yeah, that's so hard to blink up though. There's so many disruptors and there were shield batteries in the mix as well. Astrea so confident, just sending all of his gateway units to the top side of the map. He's going to unpower that the cannons as well, sniping that pile. And now big recall being used by Trap. But Astrea actually still has way more units here. I think this is a fight that Astrea can take.
Yeah, he's happy to take that. Probes get pulled in and they get smashed. Astrea's there. He's got that bigger Stalker count. He backs off for now because he's losing some probes up on that 6th base. Can't afford to lose too many of those, but finally Trap cleans up the 2 observers that have been a nightmare for him this game. And that's so important. Cleaning those observers up, very, very vital. But keep in mind, right now, Trap has more money, more supply. He's up 1 disruptor. It's that Blink Stalker count, though, that scares me for the life of Trap. I mean, +2 plasma shields is going to be kicking in. If Astrea can secure a 6th base, he is just going to continue to grow bigger and bigger. Right now, Trap has the faster expansions, but his army just never seems to be able to keep up in terms of size with Astrea.
Yeah, he's down 18 Stalkers. But, I mean, if the Immortals can really force the battle, they can obviously have a pretty big impact. But I find it very hard for Immortals to survive for a long time. If you're looking at the Disruptor count, that's at 8. Like, basically, the Immortals are going to either have to eat the shots or they're going to run away. Either way, they won't be super useful. So we'll see. Astrea really wants to take care of this base. Goes for a forward blink and he's going to use the Novas to zone this army out. Once again, the Observer giving Astrea a lot of vision there and then giving him the confirmation that this is indeed the correct play to make. Well done. If I was Trap, I would just kind of try to max out right now. Don't take a fight before you're maxed out.
I like that Astrea saw him moving south and kind of pushed the issue. I wouldn't mind him continue to pushing, and I actually think Astrea could continue to just push through at this point. Obviously, he doesn't want to be one-directional and let the Disruptors take advantage of him. Has his own 6th base established with cannons now. That's really important. Astrea, if he keeps this bottom base alive, he's good, but nice moves. Trap's got it. He should be able to snipe that Nexus finally.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit awkward to get everything out of here, though. Those Immortals are kind of just there by themselves. Look at the minimap. There's a sea of red coming in. The Immortals turning around. Oh, no, Trap with the misclick. I think he misclicked there, so his army turned around. All 3 Immortals fall. They didn't get a single shot off. I mean, killing a Nexus is nice, but he's like, you know what? I'm going to do the same thing as you. Let's just make 1,000,000 Stalkers and see who wins then. Pick. This game is just absolute madness.
Yeah, and he's going to try and turn and fight a little with his Stalkers, but he's got to be careful with those Disruptor shots backing it up. Still Astrea here. He starts +3 plasma shields. He's continuing to work on those upgrades that are just going to slowly give him value over time. And the Stalker DT on the north was picking off some of Trap's observers. He's been doing a good job of bullying back that vision. And vision, such an advantage in these Disruptor games.
Yep.
It is all about where you see your opponent moving so you can take advantage. Throw Disruptor shots where they're least expecting them. Backstab them where they're not ready.
I mean, Astrea hasn't checked the bottom left for a little while. I hope that he kind of knows that base is there. Because if he thinks he has like Trap down to 1 base right now, he's very wrong. Trap still has a pretty decent income. So Astrea is going to throw away a couple of units on the top side to take out that Nexus. That is so many Dark Templars that even the Stalkers are going to have to go for a defensive link. Now the observers of Astrea have confirmed that Trap indeed does still have the bottom left. He's going to lose both observers there, though, to those Stalkers.
I actually think the DTs on the north could win this fight, so he's got to be careful, does Trap. Those DTs shred through the Stalkers on the first blink, so once Trap blinks back, it's okay, but those DTs still a threat. Oh! Big Disruptors kind of one-shot took out a few DTs, but the army on the south's pushing back in. It's a massive Disruptor defense for Astrea. Forces Trap back, and he snipes the 6th on the north again. A lot of Blink Stalkers coming in for Astrea as well. Looks like he wants to force the issue on the north.
I actually think this is a fight Astrea can absolutely take. Trap realizing that as well, so he's going to recall the majority of his army. That Nova does not connect. He's going to have to bring the other Stalkers home as well. Truly is a war of vision at this point. Trap has lost 7 observers. Astrea has lost 10 observers. But vision is everything. A lot of Dark Templars trying to make magic happen in the bottom. But Trap is having none of that. Now these armies are getting very close to each other. And Trap has all of his Disruptors here. Where are the Disruptors of Astrea?
They're coming up now from the south side, but not before a lot of his stalkers get taken
fire!
down. Oh my god, Trap! No!
Fire in the hole as those two final Novas were massive, landing in the center of the Stalker pack. Right before Trap, I actually think could have landed the sickest Nova, a game-ending Nova, if he would have only known that all those disruptors were coming in from the south side there. What a game. I mean, Trap's still in it. I mean, he still has the bottom left. He's now going to try to take the center bottom base as well, as Astrea obviously has taken control of that base in the center top side.
Yeah, indeed. Well, I think DTs on the bottom could defend. I'm not 100% sure. It's a bit of an odd fight right now on both sides. Disruptors on the north as well, so Astrea does dodge out. Both of them have to back off. I mean, this is such high-level PvP, and I think, honestly, at this point, Astrea's observer sniping is just out of this world. In fact, he's actually lost 2 more observers this game. He's lost 12. Trap's only lost 10, but it's the fact that he keeps replacing them. That's what's so well done by Astrea, and I think it is why he is overall getting the edge in the detection, in the vision battle, and that's causing big problems. Right now, he remaxes, does Astrea. Astrea has a 7th, once again with cannons and batteries securing it. 11 DTs, 34 Blink Stalkers, 9 Disruptors. An almost identical army for Trap minus the Dark Templar. So you can see that Trap is kind of in a purely defensive mode. I think he's got to give up on that base on the north. He's sunk way too much money into trying to take that Nexus, and he just cannot get it up.
Yeah, it's better to perhaps just focus on the bottom. I mean, Trap is down quite a bit in supply at this point, and he's mining less as well. But I don't think this game is over. 1 or 2 massive Novas and anything is possible. He's going to bring the Disruptors forward, wants to land a big shot, does not get it. I think he was trying to calculate where the Stalkers of Astrea would blink. In the end, Astrea didn't really blink, and it became really awkward, like playing a game of chicken. Trap flies forward in Nova.
Crazy. Astrea will wait till literally the fraction of a second.
Good shot.
And on the north at the same time, Stalker's coming in, but mass DTs will defend up there. Meanwhile, Astrea looks like he might get a double base snipe here. His DTs ravage the Stalker army. Quick blink back from Trap, doesn't lose too many of them, but already loses a Nexus on the south. And oh, this is so well done by Astrea. I mean, we've seen Astrea throw away about 400 DTs against Scarlet. It didn't look pretty, but in this case, we are seeing mass DT work out super well.
Yeah, he has to be careful with his own Disruptors though, as he lost a couple of them there, but he does get a good shot there off in the end. This is not a fight I think Trap really wants to take, but he blinks forward on top of the Disruptors. Can he get all of them? It seems like the answer is no, so he's gonna have to run away. His own Disruptors come in from the left side, but Trap is down like 40-50 supply. Astrea is rich as well, so he can replace these. He is gonna lose the final 3 Disruptors that he had, but Astrea doesn't seem to give a damn, as he's just walking around with 1 million Dark Templars, taking out the second to last base of Trap.
Invisible men, unstoppable, mate. He just blinking on everything. In fact, this bottom fight is going well for Trap, but the problem is those DTs have cracked his 4th. They're about to crack into his natural, his main, his production. He does not have enough. I'll tell you what, a cannon, a battery, 2 cannons and a battery, good answers to 1 or 2 Dark Templar. When there's 18 that blink on your face though, ow.
Yep, I gotta say I was a bit worried there for Astrea at one point, because he was actually starting to run really low on actual army units. But I mean, he still has that bank, and if Trap is turning around, that is great news. The center base is pretty much the only base that Trap still has. Trap knows how important it is to keep that base alive. He's got that observer that's giving him some vision. He needs to fire right here, right now, and he does land some massive Novas. Astrea has to be careful, because that is one way to throw away the lead.
Oh, DTs do such crazy damage. You've got to be careful engaging into blink DTs. Oh my gosh, they do a lot of damage. Whenever they're getting kited, they look kind of weak, but for that moment where they land hits, everything just disappears. And Trap here is working with just 15 Stalkers, 6 Disruptors. His economy is almost completely gone. He's really just mining a couple of units. He does take out a lot of these DTs, but Astrea is coming up with a massive Stalkers to punish him.
And these are Stalkers that Trap really can't afford to lose. He doesn't have the money to really replace them anymore, so he's going to try to run away through the center. He's got the Observers with his army as well. Needs to bring the Disruptors, perhaps. That's the only thing that Trap still really has, right? He's got 6 Disruptors, but Astrea's got 9. He's building 3 more. The man who's been expanding like an absolute mad lad in this game and just killing bases over and over. This is where it's really starting to shine through. He's still rich, 160 supply. He looks at that army, and I think if he just goes for it there, he would have won that fight, especially if the Zealots would have gotten on top of the Disruptors. he lets Trap live for a little bit longer, but what does Trap possibly do here, Pig?
I don't know if there's much left for him to do. You mentioned Astrea when he's controlling multiple armies. It just looks so damned good. And that's what this entire game has been. It's been fighting in the north and the south and the north and the south. I mean, Kalaris must be so excited watching this right now because this is exactly his sort of action-packed, movement-focused game.
Disruptors on the high ground trying to land a good shot there, but Astrea picked off the observer of Trap and replaced it with his own observer. So this time Astrea's the one who can see those Novas coming in. He needs to move it a little bit closer, and that is exactly what he does. He's thinking of a forward blink, and he does not commit there in the end. Trap is doing his best with the remaining stalkers that he has, but just look at the minimap. These Zealot Dark Templar run-bys are off the charts. It's so many DTs.
And they have +3 shields, +1 armor, +3 attack. Insane upgrades. They are so powerful. They run up in, they start sniping the main base. Stalkers on the bottom still looking for Zealot pickoffs. The Disruptors of Astrea getting a little bit ballsy, I say. That's a bit of a wild Disruptor move from Astrea.
Well, he's going to go for the flank. I mean, Astrea still has 1 million Zealots and Dark Templars fighting in the main, so he just feels like he needs to take out this base, and then this game is his. The Novas will connect. The final Disruptors of Trap are going to get picked off here, and I think Astrea has finally done it after 31 minutes of absolute madness. A crazy PvP. Another Korean will be eliminated in the groups pick. Armani didn't make it. Maru didn't make it. Yesterday we saw Innovation fall, and today we see the man who's made it to 2 season finals in a row be eliminated as well in Group D. I don't know what the hell's happening anymore.
Such a crazy time, a crazy match. You can see Trap coming to terms with it in that camera shot, kind of just tussling his hair in frustration. I mean, what a wild game. Remember, he got way behind to the Dark Templar. He got surprised by it. Then he almost brought it back. He actually got himself an economic advantage and was only a little behind after he did that massive DT counterattack. A huge gamble, went behind DT Shrine, and he did it, and he got back into the game. They had a crazy back and forth action-packed game. So much going on for the entire time. But in the end, Astrea, Max, Angel, wow.